And John Welsh back again, PhD and co-founder of Patriotic ID. This money segment sponsor, I might add, is joining us again to talk about identity theft protection. John, so much again happening in the news again. The big hack on Apple and iMessage. For those of you that were getting their iMessages or wondering where they were going, yeah, your phone was hacked if you were an Apple user. But we've also still got all this stuff going on down at the border. 200,000 arrests at the border this month alone, John. So identity theft protection is more important than ever. Give us some updates right now on how this affects people's risk of ID theft and fraud.
Sure. Thanks, Ann, for having me again. We certainly continue to pray for all the families that are lost their loved ones in the avoidable attack at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan, as well as those Americans still stranded there. Well, with that said, we just learned last Monday of a foreign cybersecurity firm that has exploited significant Apple software vulnerability since February to silently infect iMessages and on the iPhones. Last Monday, however, Apple supplied a critical security update fixing the flaw, developing rapidly and deploying a fix on iOS 14.8 to protect their users. This intrusion is called a zero-click attack, meaning unlike some Apple hacks, the user doesn't have to click on a link or open a document to be affected. Anyone with iMessage on their phone could be silently affected. They would actually see nothing.
Wow. Okay, so again, if you were having trouble with your iMessage, you didn't even necessarily do things. We all get those weird links sometimes from phone numbers you don't recognize as you won $1 million or get your rebate here or whatever. I don't click those. I block that number and delete because if I'm not expecting it, I don't want it. Money doesn't just fall out of the sky like that, clearly. What should people do, John?
Well, you should immediately update all your Apple devices as the attack works against iMessage software on your Apple's Mac computers, your iPad, and your Apple Watches. My cybersecurity friends recommend using an app called Signal for messaging on your Apple devices. You know, I've been using it for months now, and it works very well.
Does this affect identity theft?
Well, this hack does superficially. These foreign actors sell your data to governments worldwide to conduct surveillance. So update your Apple software today. And we had another breach of a healthcare system in Maine on Tuesday that affected over 100,000 people. This Health Reach Community Health Centers is a system of 11 federally funded community health centers through central and western Maine. It's based out of Waterville, Maine. And the sad part is that Health Reach found out about the breach in May and didn't notify the Maine Attorney Generals till last week.
Wow, this is just absolutely shocking. How does this even happen?
Well, the hard drives containing personal information belonging to patients and employees was improperly disposed of by an employee at a third-party data storage facility. The information exposed included names, addresses, dates of birth, social security numbers, medical record, and financial information. While this may have been an innocent mistake on the part of the employee, it is all the more reason to make sure you have identity theft protection like Patriotic ID.
Clearly. Anything else this week, John?
Well, you might have thought the Apple hack was big, but there's something that's even bigger, in my opinion.
Okay.
This information was just reported on yesterday. Personal data of individuals who took the COVID-19 test at Walgreens Pharmacy has been exposed all over the internet due to vulnerabilities in the COVID-19 test registration there. It's still unclear how many individuals have been affected, although they could well number into the millions given the number of COVID tests that Walgreens has performed since April 2020. It's really unclear where the vulnerabilities were introduced on the website, but they date back to minimally March 2021 when it was discovered by a consultant there whose son went and got a test. He identified the security area, and when his son took the test at Walgreens, he contacted Walgreens. He alerted them to the data exposure, but they claimed that the company was not responsive. As of September 13th, 2021, the vulnerabilities had not been addressed, and it is now reported that this may date back to July 2020, indicating that the vulnerabilities have been present since at least then. According to security researchers, the vulnerabilities were the result of just basic errors in Walgreens' COVID-19 test appointment registration system, including dates of birth, address, email addresses, phone numbers, gender identity, and the name of the labs that performed the test, as well as the test results.
John, this is not good.
I know, and it may go even further. An employer, for instance, could view the information if the page was accessed, say, through a work computer. The data could also be accessible to third-party ad trackers present at the Walgreens appointment confirmation pages. Security researchers have noted, that the confirmation pages that have ad trackers like Adobe or Facebook or Google, all of which could potentially access your private information. And the researchers have told me that there are likely millions of active appointment confirmation pages since Walgreens has been conducting these tests around 6,000 sites across the United States for the last 18 months. While we don't think a large company like Walgreens could let this happen, it does. And identity theft protection will greatly assist in this medical ID theft. And it's even worse now at the border with all this medical ID theft, and like we've discussed over the last several weeks.
John, we've covered a lot again here today. We want to direct people to your website, patrioticid.com. And if you go to patrioticid.com/steeltruth, you can learn about my personal experience with identity theft years ago, why I choose to use Patriotic ID. And I love the family plan. That's what I have, $17.76 a month. Be sure to check out Patriotic ID's identity theft protection at patrioticid.com/SteelTruth again. And you have a promo code SteelTruth as well, John. This is information you're not going to get anywhere else. And I can tell you from experience, having used the other guys, this is a better deal, more comprehensive. You all offer white glove service. The months and days and weeks I'll never get back struggling with identity theft would have made one phone call to you all and you would have taken care of everything. So appreciate what you're doing here, and we will look forward to bringing you back on again with more information, because this is not a problem that's going away anytime soon. Thanks again, John. See you next week.
Yep. Thank you for having me.